Welcome back to another episode of the Downsizing Roadmap podcast with your hosts, Jody Roscoe and Heather Fisher. We're talking about all things downsizing, from our own experiences with clients to guest experts. Let's make downsizing easier, one conversation at a time. Hello, and welcome to Downsizing Podcast. Happy New Year. This is our 50th episode today.
Yeah, this is so exciting. We have been doing our podcast since last January. We have been at it every week. Hopefully you guys have been listening. If you just discovered us, we'd love for you to go back and listen. But episode 50. This is exciting.
I'm so proud of us.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that y'all have been hanging in with us. And, our listening's been growing, and we really, really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, we're approaching 10,000 downloads, I think, and, gotten some really great feedback. And that's my favorite part is just hearing from you guys on what you like, what's been helpful, what you'd like to hear about. So I think that's our number one priority, is just expressing so much gratitude for the journey we've been on this year and the support we've gotten from people who have listened and tuned in and hopefully been helped a little bit along the way.
Yeah, we absolutely appreciate that, and sharing our podcast with other people, and hopefully, it's changing your lives a little bit. We know we've gotten some really amazing notes from people about how that is, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. And so just kind of reflect on the year today, and kind of give you some behind the scenes stories of things that have happened that made us laugh.
The good, the bad, and lots of laughter for sure. Yeah.
So we'll settle back in, and we'll see what 50 episodes of stories looks like.
Yeah. So, for listeners that may have just, come across us somewhere, we're real estate agents by day. That's
I'm Jody Roscoe.
I'm Heather Fisher. And we've been realtors for a long time, each of us in different capacities. And we've been on the same team, the Roscoe Group, since 2019 when I joined Jody and her husband, Mark. And that was kind of a conversation piece back then in 2019 as to just growing this downsizing arm of your business, and how could we help people that were just struggling, not just with a simple move, but with everything that comes along with downsizing.
Yeah, because there's phases in your life, right? And there's kind of an acquiring phase. You get your kids, you start, you get a bigger house, you start acquiring things. And now this is more about the, dequiring.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not a word, but that's really what it is. And how are we going to curate the things that we love out of all those things that we acquired and create a, peaceful, experience in our home that feels, like us, and feels like we're surrounded by the things that we love and not over surrounded and buried.
Yeah, absolutely. And so since that time, we've been, teaching local downsizing classes and, helping lots of clients along this way and developing, our downsizing roadmap method. That's that strategy to get you from it being a thought to being something that's accomplished and done, and you're settled in a new space, and have that be a little bit exciting and a fresh start, not something that just happens to you.
Right. And I mean, I think that our podcast is a little bit universal. Whether you're moving or not, most people need to work on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So even if you're thinking about moving in the next 5 years, or even if it's just, because once you do it, you still have to continue to keep up on it. It's habits that you need to form around, not just continuing to acquire and not letting things go. So, so I think it's really for everybody. If you're moving, it's more crucial and more, necessary to get on top of it. But I think everybody can listen to some of these podcasts and learn something.
Absolutely.
Or be inspired.
Yeah, I think it inspires you for your daily life to be a little easier and simpler and less of a burden. And it leaves that room open for opportunity. When opportunity comes for a move or something new and exciting in your life, you feel a little more prepared to jump on that opportunity because you've are living this life that's a little simpler,
A little freer, a little lighter.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would never want to do that to myself, and I wouldn't want you guys to do it to yourselves, to where an opportunity might come up and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's totally too overwhelming because I have all this stuff, and it just kind of stops you from living.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
So, in doing the workshops and everything for the last 5 years or so, this year we added the podcast. So it's been a journey for us.
It's been on our list since we started this whole and I'm so glad that we finally got there and
jumped in
Yeah.
and are able to share information and have so many great conversations. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into or what to do, and here we are. And again, just so happy that we've gotten these 50 episodes out and excited to keep going for more into the new year.
Yeah, so stuff we've learned, right? I think we say it over and over and over, but it's never about the stuff. It's about the stories.
Yeah, I think that it is something we say, and every time we say it and talk to someone else, it just becomes truer and truer. When you can remember to be dreamy and embrace that, there's so much ahead of you. And when you can realize that the stuff is just stuff, and until you choose what to curate and what is your legacy and what brings you joy, and take those things with you, and that all becomes part of that dream, it's such a great place to be.
Yeah. And we carry our memories inside of us. It's that's an internal. Stuff is external, right? And so internally we carry the memories. Sometimes the stuff reminds us of things, and that's what brings us joy when we look at it. It reminds us of those memories. But overall, it's all inside of you. So the stuff is just stuff, and some of it can remind you of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But another lesson that, we've learned and we hope to pass on is that the earlier you start, the easier this whole process is. You're not tackling it all at once. You're not fighting decision fatigue in a short time frame where something has to happen because of a time frame imposed on you.
Yeah, you're not making choices out of crisis.
Yeah. The more you can think about that this is just a better way to live, the more you can, tackle that mountain in appropriate chunks and not overwhelm yourself, exhaust yourself, and just stop because it's too hard.
Yeah, you want to own your stuff. You don't want your stuff to own you, right? Like, you don't want to be, overwhelmed by it. You want to be proactive around it and feel empowered and feel like, that you are in a space that evokes whatever that is you want your space to evoke. If you want it to feel energetic, if you want it to feel peaceful, however you want your space to be, you have curated that space to be that way, intentionally, and thought about it. Because what happens is we just collect and collect, things, and then it gets messy. It gets a little muddy. I just bought a property that we're going to do short-term rental, and so I got to decorate the whole thing at one time, and that actually was very eye-opening for me about what things that I felt were necessary, what things that I didn't think were necessary, what kind of feel I wanted around it. And so now, of course, I want to live there and not in my house, but so now I have to go back to my house and do that. And really, I learned some great lessons about intentionality and how much you need and what you don't need. And so I thought that was an interesting thing when you try to do it all at once, because that's rare that we do that in our own houses. It just kind of morphs as we move along, and maybe not exactly the way you intend it to be, but you don't look at it. You don't use those fresh eyes and look at it.
Yeah, I feel like timing always works out, in ways you're not expecting. And we, have been talking about downsizing for a while and starting this podcast. And then, I went through a move that so much of this was applicable. You bought the short-term rental where so much of this was applicable. And it just was like, okay, I see what we're saying, and living it in real time, a lot of these choices and decisions. So it was great for myself to just have all of this information top of mind and give myself a different perspective.
Well, and we got so many good stories this year out of your stuff and your, the moving and all of the things. It cements it for ourselves.
Yeah, that it's the right strategy and the right path, and that it works when you make intentional choices around things.
And I said this a little earlier, but another lesson that I got from it this year was it's not a one-time thing. It's a mindset. It's totally a mindset of, it's not, I mean, it might be a weekend, week, month, year project, depending on how much stuff you have, maybe the garage is the weekend or, whatever that is. But in general, to make it work, it has to be a change in your mindset around what you're keeping, why you're keeping it, being intentional about that, and then creating habits around it so it doesn't go back to being that again.
Yeah, and working with your personality and your angle around your feeling of things to find a habit that works for you, that you can continue and not just be disappointed because months later it's right back to how it was and you're overwhelmed again.
Yeah, and that's about, what questions are you asking yourself? Are you even asking yourself questions, about whether you need something or whether, you're using it, or do you have a pattern of, one month you go to one room and the next month you go to the next room after you've already done it. You just take, you take that room again and just make sure you haven't filled up all the drawers with things you don't need and, all of that.
Yeah. Being comfortable living with some empty space. It's
Yeah.
a hard thing to get used to, but it can do a world of good.
Or sparse even.
Yeah.
Empty or sparse. It doesn't have to be crammed full of things. And everybody has a different level of comfortable with that. Some people feel comfortable with more things, but still there can't be so many things that you can't see what's important and really visualize. And if they're in boxes in the basement, we've said this 100 times, they're not important because they're not important enough for you to put them out, even though you might tell yourself they're important once you open the box and go, oh, this is really important, but it isn't because you haven't been living with it and using it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about like everyday choices that you're making.
Yeah. Conversations is something that we've talked about in a few different episodes this year, but that can be conversations between you and your spouse. Those can be difficult conversations if you're on different pages on your phase of life. Conversations with your adult kids, or if you're an adult kid wondering how to help your parents, that conversation going the other way we've touched on. And I think you just said it, conversations with yourself, those questions to truly ask yourself. And, sometimes if you're struggling with that, the best thing to do is to actually write your answers down. Yeah. You're not kind of half answering it in your head. You're truly answering.
Why is this thing important to me? Or what do I want my life to look like? Or, we've talked a lot about that. First step for us is that mindset step, getting dreamy about what you want your life to look like. And we just need to all do that. Like every year we need to just take some inventory of what our life is looking like and are we on the right path, and is that the direction we want to be going, and are all these things helping us in that direction or stopping us from going in that direction?
Yeah. So those are some of the lessons that we have tried to share with others that we've picked up over the years, but I think this year taught us some stuff too.
Yeah, we would love to hear your lessons or what your takeaways were too. So reach out to us at downsizingroadmap.com and let us know what your takeaways were. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, we've gotten more than one email this year from people who have listened and have just shared something that helped them, and it is so encouraging to us that we're helping people, and it resonates so much when people see it from different perspectives. And
yeah, we love hearing it.
We love that so much. Such good days when we get those replies through the website.
Yeah. So we learn things too, right?
Yeah. I think for me, this was a year that so much happened that related to this. Not only, my own move, which I've tried to share stories with you guys, but I lost my dad this year. And, when I got into building some of this downsizing material with Jody years ago, my parents were, older parents. I'm in my 50s and older parents, but we weren't quite facing this, hadn't gone through a lot of stages that Jody had just gone through with her family. So she was coming at it from a little different perspective. And for me, I've lived through a lot of these steps with, trying to help my mom as they make choices on the house that they live in, and her wanting to be ahead of things with downsizing and paperwork and all of that. And then my dad moving to, a nursing home in the last year, and then losing him this fall. I just think I've learned so much that I can share with my family, but also just knowing what people are going through, just adding everything, from my heart onto that, because our family is going through all of this at the same time as many of our listeners.
Yeah, I think that it's not a club any of us want to be in. And it brings its own challenges in lots of ways, but it does help us relate.
Yeah,
it does help us relate, and I can relate to it. If you're the adult child, I've got you. I've been there. I'm right there. I totally get it. So,
yeah, I think we try to come at it from that perspective of where we're coming from, and we're in that phase of life that so many people are, and dealing with adult parents, and looking way down the road for ourselves, what our forever homes look like, and what do we want to set ourselves up for.
And in our real estate team, because we do a lot of outreach in this area, we've helped so many people go through this process too. So we really see it from their perspective as well. We've seen so many stories, and we've helped people go from bigger houses to littler houses, or littler houses to independent living or assisted living. We've helped so many people do that really helps us to understand what that process needs to look like, how to do that smoothly, how we can help with that too. So between our own stories and the stories of all of our clients who I love helping as well, we just have a lot of experience that's going into talking about what needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm so thankful when someone just allows us to walk alongside them, and then you see their smiles at the end when they're settled in their new place, and just feeling lighter and feeling like, okay, I did that, and I'm happy with it.
Yep. And my last lesson was, it's not really a lesson, I'm just really proud of us. Like, we were really consistent. And when we started this at the beginning of the year, we laid out a whole, plan of us, coming and talking about this so that we could get a podcast out once a week. And we did it. Like, I'm just, I will say teamwork was good. So good job on the teamwork on that. And we, I love doing it. I love talking about it. I love all of it. But sometimes you get busy, and so we didn't let ourselves get derailed. And I'm excited for that, because I do think it helps people. I know we're helping people.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the feedback we've gotten, I went through some of the reviews and emails we've gotten, and we had someone say that we were a salve for the cluttered home and mind.
Aww.
And I loved that. I was like, okay, if that's what we're doing, then that's amazing. Someone said, just what we need to get our situation under control. And someone said, so much great info for an overwhelming process. So I think that sums up, people are overwhelmed. And if we can add a little clarity, a little intention, and a little comfort that you're not alone in what you're feeling around it, but here's a plan, then I think, job well done, and proud of that.
Yeah. I think our top episodes kind of really show that too. So I think our top episodes were kind of emotional transitions where people are, going from one thing to another, just to know that they're not alone, and that everybody's feeling like this, and everybody has a lot of stuff and all the things, like you're not alone. And then episodes that had a plan, like, 5 steps to this or 10, because people want to like get going on it and get that momentum going. And I think needing a plan, wanting the permission to get started and needing that path, like I think those were good ones. And then that it's about their whole life, not just the stuff or whatever, but everything that's going on in their life. So immediate results. That's what we're looking for. We're all looking for immediate results when we're feeling overwhelmed. And I think, we've talked about this too, that when you give yourself parameters, it's easier to make choices. And so I think sometimes our episodes are like, okay, here's the parameters for today, go try that one. And, one might resonate with somebody and another, plan path might resonate. It's all the same outcome that we're wanting in the end. But, giving yourself those parameters kind of makes it easier to make decisions sometimes.
Those are definitely some of my favorite episodes personally, because I like a plan. I like a system. But I think
you are fantastic at systems. Me, not so much.
I like it because you can see progress quickly. I think I fall in the plan, need a plan category, and you, Jody, probably fall more in the sentimental category more so than me. I have it in there, but
no, I'm definitely more sentimental than
more
you.
looking for an action plan, like how can we get this done? So
I love a plan, but I can't make it. So you making the plan and me following the plan is perfect.
Yes, and you're a good question asker to get me to look at things in that sentimental way. So a good team, but hopefully we're hitting that balance of giving people some actionable steps and also letting them process through the emotions that come along with this process.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite episode?
I wrote down, funny that this was just the topic, I wrote down that I have so many favorite episodes, but I really like the challenges. I like the 10 things to do today and what to do this week, this month. Those are my favorite because I've done some of them myself. And I like building those habits. Yeah.
I agree with that because, like I said, I'm not the best at making a plan, but I like to follow one. And so because I really do think that helps you get that momentum going, and you're like, okay, I got this. This is what I'm going to do. I also love the 80-20 rule in general. Like in life, like that thought process helps me a lot as mindset, thinking, I really do only use like 20% of this stuff, and so I'm not going to make huge mistakes if I'm letting go of things that I haven't touched in a while. Like it's okay because I'm not using it.
Yeah, some of our episodes we've touched on, some of the science behind it too, and the decision fatigue and things like that. And I think that study we talked about when people just suddenly have more attachment because they own something, not because they love it or whatever. And I like understanding that science a little bit because then it makes the decisions easier because I'm like, I'm not feeling this way because I really love this.
Right. I'm feeling this way because I own it.
Yeah, I can get past it. Or, it's okay to stop because of that decision fatigue and pick this up tomorrow or to shift to something easier for a moment. And it, it just makes it all understandable that everybody's feeling that same thing and here's why and here's how to move past it.
Yes, love that. Take outtakes or bloopers?
Oh gosh, guys. There's probably
you don't see them.
You don't see them. Maybe someday we'll get that. But we've had a lot of fun here in the studio and had some funny moments. We had, we had early on, I think you had that coughing episode.
Oh my gosh.
So the video on that one probably in the outtakes.
We had to splice it because I literally had to leave the room. I don't even know what was going on, but it was bad.
Yeah, so I think we had the giggles when we regrouped, so maybe that's evident. And I don't even remember which episode that was.
It was so funny.
We've had a couple bugs crawl across our studio into, you can tell the water bottle. We had one crawling up in my water. We keep a little water.
If you watch it on YouTube, you can probably see me just like literally laser staring at her water bottle because there was a bug crawling up and her water bottle was open. And so at first I saw, and our studio is great. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say like anything about it.
Bugs happen everywhere.
Right. But so this bug like starts wandering. It was like a little stink bug.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like a little bug. And it starts wandering across the table. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. Catches my eye, and I'm trying to talk with her, and then the bug starts crawling up her water bottle, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like laser focused looking at this. I'm still talking to her, but if you watch the YouTube of it, I'm sure you can see me just staring at her water bottle like the whole time.
Please don't drink. Please don't drink.
Yeah, and so by the time like we finished our episode, it had literally like gotten to the top right on the edge of where if she took it, like that would have been in her mouth. And so I'm like dying, and I'm like, please don't drink it. Please don't drink it.
Yes.
So as soon as we finished, she pushes the button. I'm like, don't drink your water.
Thank you for saving me. Thank you for saving me.
Oh,
Yes,
funny.
we had one day it was raining so loud we couldn't even hear in our headphones because the rain.
It sounded like, I don't even know, like 1,000 people running on the roof.
Yes. And, we did have the episode with, we had a guest, Rachel, our friend, Rachel. We did the whole episode and it didn't record. So that was our biggest blooper,
Yes.
not so funny blooper. But yeah, we've had a great time this year. We're so thankful. This is a great time to just say we're so thankful to Mike and Richard and Liberty here at the studio where we record. They're in the background, just being so kind to us and showing us the way.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without them, really.
Yeah, jumping into something we've never done before, and they've been such a big help. So definitely gratitude in this episode for them getting us through 50 episodes and helping us so much.
Yep. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to see all the backstory.
Yeah. And I think, we've talked about lessons that we've learned and, lessons that we've learned from each other. I think, Jody in my life, before the podcast and continuing, she is such a cheerleader for people being dreamy about what comes next in life. And so, that's a lesson that I've learned from her, and it's, so true and such the way to approach next phases in anything. So thank you for that, Jody. I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned from you over the years.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned from you is that, first of all, what's the purpose? Making sure we have a purpose to everything that we're doing. But then that the plan actually, sets you free, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a seat of my pants kind of person, and like, oh yeah, I'll get that done, and sure, that sounds amazing. And Heather's always like, hey, okay, that's great, but like, how are we going to implement that, and like, exactly what is that going to look like? And so because of that, we get all the things done, which that I can dream about and be, but we can't, like, I can't get them done if I don't actually have that plan and that system, and that the system set you free. So that's what I've learned.
Yeah, well, I think that makes us a good team with different things we focus on, and hopefully that comes together with something that's so helpful for our listeners. We touched on some of the comments we've gotten, and you touched on the many clients we've helped this year and other years, and that's what fills up our hearts, and just makes us happy knowing that we can show someone a strategy that makes life easier, because change is hard.
Yeah.
We know that. And so if we can make it easier for someone, or at least know that there's people available to walk alongside them.
Right. So if you ever have questions about anything, if there's an episode you want to hear more about, reach out to us at downsizingroadmap.com. Sometimes I don't even know who's listening. I had a friend tell me, oh, I've been listening to your whole podcast and I've been working on my house. And I'm like, you have? I'm like,
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I love that. And I also love seeing the end product of it. Like, I saw how much she had cleaned up and cleaned out, and she was feeling amazing about it. And I'm, seeing her stuff on gifting, with gratitude, on our Facebook page, like, that you give things away. And I'm like, oh, there she is doing some more. And
Yeah.
I just loved that. I just loved being able to, inspire her without even knowing it. So, share this if there's somebody else who you think it could inspire.
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing that people are sharing it. We had someone just ask, we do have a downsizing guide, a free downsizing guide, a little mini guide available. And someone had requested one and then came back and said, I need more. I've told my friends. And, I love that she's finding it helpful and sees, what a joy it is to ease that burden for other people. And she's passing that information along. So.
Yeah, that's a little kind of workbook, just a tiny one with all of our, 5-step plan in there.
Yeah. So, talking about, what the whole year has taught us about change, I think that is what we've already been saying, that everyone we talk to, nearly everyone says they wish they had done it sooner. Mm-hmm. They're feeling happy, and there's a little, bounce in their step when they've gotten rid of, a load at the donation center, or they have made a move and not taken too much, or they've settled in. We always try to go visit our clients, a month or two after they've moved and check on them. And they're so excited when they're just have done it the right way and taken less and made it feel like home, but in a lighter way, and makes us happy.
Yeah, I think I've said this before, but I think what I learned in that year, where Mom and Grandma both passed away, and I've lost lots of people in the last few years, is that I have no control over any of that, and that you just honestly have to embrace the change because it's going to happen whether you want it to happen or not. And so you don't have to keep everything exactly the same. And if you actually try to, it's going to cause you pain in your life. And so some change you can control and you can make positive changes, and some change is going to happen and you aren't going to want it. And it is still going to happen no matter what. So embracing that change, taking a look at what you want to have happen next, really controlling what you can control and letting go of the rest of it. I think that's the bigger lessons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when your home supports your stage of life and not a past one, we've find that people find that that's an easier place to live, and that's what you're talking about. Like they wish they had done it sooner. It's not about losing space, especially if you're going to go somewhere smaller. It's really about kind of gaining freedom and gaining perspective and deciding what your legacy is going to look like, deciding what your future is going to look like. What are you going to do with your time? There's just so much. There's so much about it that's in your mind, not in your stuff, and that's the deeper part that's going to make your life actually better. The stuff is just stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we, are celebrating 50 episodes, there's lots more to come.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to, it's exciting, this, our 50th episode falling on New Year's Eve. So, new year, new episodes. We've got, lots of ideas that we're planning, lots of episodes. All of these topics are ones that need revisited over and over in different ways. So, you'll hear us say things, but I think people need to hear it more than once for it to feel like, okay, now I'm ready. And you need to hear it at that right moment in the right way, with the plan that resonates with you. So we've got lots of episode plans in the way, or, along the way. We've got our mini guide right now, our downsizing free guide, but we've got plans in the works coming soon. Just a really more in-depth workbook guide that can go alongside our podcast and our classes to anybody who's just needing that path and that strategy. So we're super excited for that to come out in 2026.
If you want the guide right now, go to downsizingroadmap.com and you can sign up, give us your email, and we'll email you the guide.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited for that. We've got more in-person workshops coming up in 2026, and we've had some great conversations, with our network of agents across the country that help seniors and other people making a downsizing move or a transitional move through these same stages that we partner with. If you're not here local to us, we have those resources of people who have that same mindset that we do and can help you. So we'd love to connect you with those agents. If this is something on your New Year's resolutions for 2026, we would love to help through the process.
Absolutely. Yep. We can find you somebody good. And so, yeah, if 2026 is your year, let us know.
Yeah, reach out to us.
We'll find you the right people.
Yeah, and just to wrap up, we just want to say again, if this podcast has encouraged you this year and made a difference for you and your life, thank you for listening.
Yes, absolutely. We just couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, you guys are the reason that we do this each week, and we would love to hear if it's helping you. We love your listening, and we'd love a review and just reaching out to us and telling us what we can do to help you. That's what makes us happy.
Yeah, because we're here talking into microphones with nobody looking at us. And so sometimes, just having that feedback of like, hey, this was interesting, or I would love for you to talk about this or whatever, that would just be amazing. So
yeah, if there's a topic we haven't touched on that you're struggling with, we would love those ideas. You can reach out to us at downsizingroadmap.com or email us info@downsizingroadmap.com, and we'll get you anything that you need.
Have a happy new year.
Yeah, happy new year,
Looking
everyone.
forward to 2026.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Downsizing Roadmap podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might need a little downsizing inspiration. Have questions or ideas for future episodes? Reach out to us on our website, www.downsizingroadmap.com. Until next time, let's keep simplifying and moving forward.